Having hopes, dreams, and aspirations is important in life. It is a rare person who can accomplish all they aspire to do alone without some type of motivation, encouragement, and accountability. For entrepreneurs and business owners, there are personable events like Design Your Destiny, a venue that encourages and inspires attendees to stand out effectively to make a difference and to live out their calling while giving them the tools to do that. Founded by author, speaker, and coach Lisa Marie Platsky, Design Your Destiny events have been described by attendees as being energetic, interactive, inspiring, motivational, a place where they receive new insights and the opportunity to network and make connections. Silver Sage spent a day at the event where we interviewed three remarkable women who shared their personal stories of overcoming odds and what attending Design Your Destiny has done for them in facing fears, overcoming obstacles, and forging ahead to success. Though born with a heart defect, which required her to have open heart surgery at the age of 10, Naomi made a goal to join her husband on a trek to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest mountain in Africa. Amanda shares her story of having to reinvent herself after the death of her only child. And Celeste shares about overcoming life's setbacks and the importance of realizing self value even in the midst of trials and tribulation.
That trip to Mount Kilimanjaro is not one, not two, it's 8 days long. And it's all outdoors, sleeping in tents, carrying at least 22 pounds on your back every day from an elevation of 6,000 up to 19,341. So I really wanted to accompany him. It sounded so big. And in the process of getting my mindset around that, I checked with my heart doctor, I checked with my anti-aging doctor, I made sure that all the foundation I built as a healthy person was in place, and then we set out on a journey. Now first I met with Lisa Marie, and I told her what my plans were, and she said, let's see your calendar. And we pointed, every 3 weeks we placed a mountain. So we climbed 7 mountains in California before we flew to Africa. When we had that on the calendar, I said, well, in August, I'm going to Europe to train. I need to be in San Francisco, and then I'll go to Africa. And she said, what are you thinking? And she helped me clear my mind, which actually cut my life in half. And I spent 20 hours a week getting ready to go climb that mountain. What did it mean? I had to use every resource that I had. I had to train and train and train and train. Thousands of things happened to me in that time period, from having my entire heel broken off by my boots, to having a brand new backpack 10 days before we left because I'd worn out the one I'd been wearing, to getting to that sixth mountain. From getting to that 6th mountain and actually putting a backpack on that weighed 30 pounds and summiting to 11,000 feet and down. And the 7th mountain was a 3-day backpack with 40 pounds up to 14,000 feet, the highest I'd ever been. Each and every mountain had a lesson. And what I learned, that without the resources of the store, the doctors, the husband, without the literal training plan in writing, so that when I came off the first hike, it took me 8 days to recover. But by the 7th mountain, I was recovering at the end of 11 hours, maybe 8 miles hiking. I recovered in 1 hour. At the end of the 7th mountain, I started to believe that maybe I could actually summit Mount Kilimanjaro. Now, why is that such a big question? Only 60% of those who attempt it actually get there, to the highest point. I'm not about 60%. When I made that plan on purpose and I set my priorities and I realigned my entire life around that goal, and I focused on the idea of getting to the top of that mountain. When I did that, I then had the freedom to choose. Will I do it or not do it? So it came to the 6th day. We're going to summit on the 7th day. The clouds were clear. I went outside at midnight to go to the bathroom, and it was pitch black. There was no lights anywhere. It looked like I was on the edge of the world. And up in the sky, there was trillions and trillions and trillions of stars. And as my eyes focused straight ahead, as big as the side of a wall, was the Big Dipper. Now, I, as a congenital heart patient, didn't really want to talk about it for 40 years. Only recently did I make an agreement with Mending Kids. And Mending Kids saves children's lives. They're located in Burbank, California, and they do heart surgery for children who need it. Now, Mount Kilimanjaro is in Tanzania. There are 500 children on the waiting list waiting for heart surgery who, if they get to 10, maybe 13 years old, and they don't have it, they won't be on our earth anymore. So I climbed that mountain. My little phrase was, mending 100 hearts, climb to the stars to save little hearts. On that night, when I saw the Big Dipper, I realized even if I never took another step, I had reached my goal to the stars. As it would be, it snowed. And the next 2 days, every night the mountain was covered in clouds. So even at the summit, the chance of seeing the sun was very diminished. So I met my goal of climbing to the stars. And on the day of the summit, I realized that all that had passed before me was like almost darkness. And the message I felt I got, based on the plan, based on setting my priorities, that he said, I'm going to tell you a message. The message I got was, leave the darkness behind and walk into my light. I'm 61. I'm the healthiest adult congenital heart patient in the United States, and I've just proved it. Because climbing to 19,341 feet is a huge accomplishment, and everyone in my group did it, 100%, except that wasn't high enough for me. I stepped on a rock, and from that rock, I jumped and tightened my feet up higher, 1 foot, and then back to the ground. Because I want to live a limitless life. I don't want to be stopped by anything that in the past has stopped me. So I teach a program called the Brave Heart Shift. And if I did a shift this much, it would be good. Now, my shift was from here all the way to here. Because I had a mentor, I had a person next to me, I had a person consulting me and focusing me and asking me powerful questions. But each and every one of us can make a shift. The way I accomplished the goal of climbing to Mount Kilimanjaro was having a plan in place, having a person that helped guide me and ask me powerful questions, and making sure my priorities were lined up. Those are basic principles. I recommend them to everyone. So I encourage each and every one of you to think of some way that you can pay it forward. You see, when someone paid for my surgery, I didn't understand at 10 years old what life and death was, but today I do. And so by me paying it forward, by helping to raise money for children who need heart surgery, I can then bless myself and bless someone else. And that causes my heart to be more open to anything else that I need to change. It could be letting go of a piece of food that's not serving me. It could be thinking outside the box every time I speak. It could be listening carefully and continuously to my grandchildren so I can capture their heart. There's so many things we can do to make a difference in other people's lives. So I call it a shift. I call it a heart shift, and I say you have to be brave to do it. So get your brave on, decide what it is, get a partner, make a plan, track it, and enjoy the results. The celebration is the best. The gratitude of having said you were going to do it and do it. Be a woman or a man who says, I'm doing it, and do it.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed all that.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Personally, one of the things that I really had a challenge with was the loss of my son. And so having to reinvent yourself when your life didn't turn out exactly how you expected it to. I had an only child, and when his life was taken, it became a moment in my life that it was stopped. Just basically my life stopped. And so I had to reinvent who I was, and went through a lot of different things to do that. But then once that life changing event happened, I realized I need to really focus on what is going to bring me some comfort to my soul. And so I said, one of the things that is important to me are older adults and being able to use my skills, talents, and treasures in that environment. And that's exactly what I did. I searched out and was able to find a company that actually worked with senior retirement communities, and said, I've got a huge marketing and advertising background, what can I do to help? And at that point, they were looking for someone in their corporate marketing. So that's where I started that part of it. It's very difficult to rise above something that happens to you. One of the things that truly helped me, first you have to align what's going on in here and figure out how you're going to process all this information. And then not to hesitate to connect with individuals that you believe are going to actually understand what you're going through and be able to help support whatever it is that you need to do. And especially if it is the loss of a loved one, because the grieving process is so traumatic that, everyone approaches that differently. Find individuals actually, and you can try support groups. In my case, the first, because I'm very action-oriented type personality, and so soon after it happened, I heard about some support groups, and I said, I need to sign up for those, because if they've been through it, they know how to handle it, and I need to find out what that secret is. And I went to a meeting with probably 12 other individuals that had also had the loss of a child. And the way they format that particular support group, they each went around the room and they shared their situation. For me at that time, that early in my grief, it really was devastating. So you have to learn what works for you. Every story that I heard because it was in 30 days that I tried to find help in that manner. They know how to fix me, let's get in there and get it fixed, right? But every story that I heard, the grief came right back up for me, and it was so hard to hear what they had been through without feeling what I had been through. So it drained me, literally drained the energy right out of me to get to do that so early in the process. So you have to really find what works for you, and then and that may work for some folks. So I don't discount it. I think it's one of those things that you do have to associate with. But for me, what worked was just searching out individuals that I knew loved me and that would allow me moments in time where I could maybe not have to perform for them. I didn't have to do any action items. It was just about being myself, and even going to the mall. And when I was done being in public, that they were done being in public too. And it was a mutual agreement that I had with certain individuals that I could trust. With Design Your Destiny, I actually became aware of it probably about 6 or 7 years ago. Was when I first connected with Lisa Marie. And so one of the things that I learned coming into it is that I'm responsible for the next half of my life. And so how I choose to deal with my history will set the stage for what I'm going to accomplish next. And so, yes, I had a lot that I was going through, but I also had to realize I was going to find the answers from within. And Design Your Destiny and Lisa Marie Platsky and her programs and formulas for doing that became very ingrained in who I was going to become. So I just feel like with that kind of guidance and training, it's been really kind of critical for me to be able to move forward and accomplish these additional things that I want to do in the second half of my life. One of the principles that I learned in Lisa Marie's teachings was that it's okay to be seen and it's okay to shine. And that was one of the areas that I retreated from because I didn't want to share all of my life with others, because once you've had a devastating situation like that happen, you don't want to get so close that somebody is going to have to learn about that, because it changes the environment when you bring something like that up. But she has allowed me to accept that that is part of who I am and be okay with reaching out to new people, being able to share that part of who I am and be seen, heard, and valued.
It has been a joy to look back and understand that the tests I have had become a testimony. I've worked very hard for 25 years in sales and marketing with Nordstrom, and then with self-storage division that I'm a part of. And we get exhausted. Sometimes we even think we can't overcome or we can't do anymore. Our ideas aren't taken, or maybe we come across challenges. Within family, I had the opportunity to really step up when the economy took a turn. I think a lot of us really hit hard in 2009, 10, and 11. And I worked full-time and became the primary provider for our family. And my husband got sick and was rebuilding his health, and it took a few years. And it was challenging, and I had to understand that I had to take control over what I had control over, my effort and my attitude. And I've learned that in life, that you can't let others affect you. You can't let them tell you, oh, you'll never do that, and your dreams won't come true. I was introduced to Lisa Marie in the Design Your Destiny Leadership Success Summit. This is my third year attending. And she really helped me to put the wind back in the sails of my life. I'm a passionate person. I enjoy encouraging others, and sometimes we need that cheerleader to help us get there when things get tough. And I had to push through losing our home. I had to push through understanding that it's not always the things that we own, but the people that we love. I had a husband that I embraced and who he embraced me, and 2 children that I had to look at to understand why I got up every day to work so hard, why I needed to push towards my dreams, because I was going to leave that legacy to my children. I have a 17-year-old daughter and a 23-year-old son that just graduated college. And they know I'm never too busy, even though I am so busy. But I'm always there for them, to encourage them or help them push through. We're all going to have challenges in life. And what is so important, which Lisa Marie teaches, is who you surround yourself with. Who's going to be there to help pick you up, dust you off. I like to say Q-tip, quit taking it personal. If we take the challenges and turn them around to be opportunities of learning, it's wisdom. And we only continue the struggle if we don't use the wisdom for knowledge to take a different step in a different direction. So truly, in life, whether it be good or bad, it's what we gain from that situation or that experience or that circumstance that allows us to learn and to grow. And then to realize that we only have control over our feelings, our effort, our emotions. And sometimes we have to not give that power to other people that say, you can't do that, you'll never be good enough. I had an amazing mother and father as a child, but grew up in an alcoholic home. So at a very young age, as a teenager, I was introduced to alcohol. And when things aren't going good, we tend to turn to substances in life, whether it be food, alcohol, some cigarettes. And so it was very challenging during my high school years, even though I was at a young age and I had my whole life in front of me. But now as an adult, I've come to reach out to teenagers. I'm a coach, I coach softball, and I'm involved in their life, junior high, high school age, to encourage them to reach for their dreams, that life isn't about what people think of you. Life isn't about the clothes that you're wearing. It's about truly dreaming and believing you can be anything you want to be. We get so caught up on Facebook. We get so caught up on Instagram and the things people say, and it messes with us, with our emotions. And my dear grandmother, rest her soul, Ann Stevenson, went to be with the Lord a year and a half ago. But if it's something that she left me, a legacy. She was raised in the Depression before women were even businesswomen. She owned 2 businesses, as a single mom raised 2 beautiful children. But she got up every day expecting, when her feet hit the floor, good morning world, what great and amazing things do you have for me today? It's truly been the strength in my life that when things have gotten tough and the storm is just really strong, to understand that there are amazing things coming my way, and that the 2 things I always have control over is my effort and my attitude, and I won't let that be taken away from me. The first thing that I would encourage that person to do is understand their value. And a lot of us have a hard time understanding that we are priceless. We are priceless, we are more than conquerors, we are enough. And so I would begin with those encouraging words, and I would hope that the response I would get was they'd sit up a little stronger, a little taller, with a little bit more pride, and understanding their value. And then I'd ask them to dream big. If there was just one thing that they could do to pick, what would it be? And then I'd give them a few minutes to think about it and really visualize and imagine what that was and see themselves doing it. And then to simply write down a few steps that would take them in that direction. If each day we can take a step down that path to lead us to the direction we want to go, we're going to get those results. But it's understanding, it's thinking that we have to do it all so quickly in a one day. It takes time. It took time for us to get here. It's going to take time for us to get there. But just to encourage them and ask them why they would want life different and what impact it would truly have. Because I believe as people, when we understand the why and the impact it's going to make, we want to do it. The excuses tend to go away. And then to surround themselves, I would encourage them to find some people that would help encourage them, lift them up, build them up, and help them understand that they can do it, that there might be challenges. You might get 7 slammed doors saying, I can't do this, I can't do this. But then to bring them back to understand why you want it and what value, what it's going to bring to your life.